The old lighthouse keeper, Silas, had always been a man of routine. Every morning, he'd climb the winding stairs, the salty air stinging his eyes, and light the beacon. He'd spend his days watching the endless dance of the waves, the gulls crying out against the wind. Lately, though, the rhythm of his life had been disrupted. The fog, usually a fleeting visitor, had settled over the coast like a shroud, clinging to the cliffs and choking the lighthouse beam. Silas, trapped in the swirling gray, felt a growing unease. He'd started hearing whispers, carried on the wind, mournful cries that seemed to emanate from the depths of the fog. He'd see faces in the swirling mist, fleeting glimpses of figures that vanished as quickly as they appeared. One morning, he found a strange object on the rocks below the lighthouse, a small, intricately carved wooden box, unlike anything he'd ever seen before. Inside, nestled on a bed of seaweed, lay a single, perfectly preserved seashell. It pulsed with an eerie inner light, casting shimmering patterns across the rough wood of the box. Silas, despite his initial fear, felt compelled to keep the shell. As the days passed, the whispers grew louder, the faces more insistent. The fog thickened, pressing against the lighthouse windows, blurring the line between reality and the unseen. Then, the nightmares began. He dreamed of a forgotten sea god, his eyes burning with an ancient, malevolent light, demanding a sacrifice. The whispers morphed into demands, echoing through the lighthouse: "Release the captive, return what you have taken." Silas, driven to despair, finally understood. The seashell, a gift from the depths, was not his to keep. It belonged to the ocean, to the forgotten god. He climbed down the treacherous cliff face, the fog swirling around him, the whispers urging him on. At the base of the cliff, he opened the box and cast the shell back into the churning sea. As the shell sank into the depths, the fog began to lift. The whispers faded, replaced by the familiar sound of the waves. Silas, exhausted but relieved, returned to the lighthouse, the weight of the unseen lifted from his shoulders. He never saw the faces again, but he knew the ocean had taken what was rightfully its own. And in the silence that followed, he finally understood that sometimes, the greatest gifts are the ones we return.